episode of Progress, Potential, and Possibilities, discussions with fascinating people designing a better tomorrow for all of us. I'm your host, Ira Pastor.
Welcome, everybody, again to another episode of our show, bringing you another really fascinating guest today who is helping to create a better tomorrow and really exciting future on many different fronts. We have the honor today of being joined by Ms. Bayan Abusalameh, who is the 2020-2021 Chevening Scholar in Advanced Mechanical Engineering, Queen Mary University College of London, who just finished off her fascinating master's dissertation in innovative structural design for a 1U CubeSat, which she has codenamed Palestine 1. She's also a member of the Institution of Mechanical Engineers Unmanned Aerial Systems team at Queen Mary University College in London. Ms. Abusalameh has her undergraduate bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Birzeit University in Palestine, her master's in advanced mechanical engineering from Queen Mary University of London, and has been all over the international press lately, talking about what she's been up to, what she's going to be doing. So we're really honored to have her join us today for a little while. But Ms. Bayan Abusalameh, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for this great bio as well.
It's our pleasure. It's really great having you, and you have a fascinating story. And I love it. You know, we typically do on the show to hand you the mic for a little while, just to talk a little bit more about yourself. Everything from where you grew up, when you first found out you had interest in sort of this entire area of STEM, and what got you interested in mechanical engineering at first. I think that'd be a great way to start the story off here.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in Palestine, and when I was a young girl, I looked at the stars and I wondered, like, there's something there, obviously. And I have always been fascinated about like stars and galaxies, and this like passion for space has evolved when I read Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking. And at that point, I just knew that this is what I want to do. I want to unravel the mysteries of the universe. So I did my research, and I find out that I really like how things work. I really like to be involved into creating a machine or an instrument that help humanity to unravel these mysteries. And this is how I knew that I should be studying mechanical engineering. So when I was 16, I decided I wanted to study mechanical engineering, and I graduated high school. I joined Birzeit University because I had a scholarship there. So I studied my bachelor's in Birzeit, and I tried, to be honest, like the idea of CubeSat started in Birzeit University. However, I couldn't really make it because the potentials of Birzeit University is not as involved in space industry as other universities. And the research there is not evolved as other universities. So that's when I knew that, like, in my master's degree, this is what I should do. So I started my application process with Chevening and advanced mechanical engineering, and thankfully, thank God, I got accepted. And I started my master's degree in COVID, which wasn't really ideal. However, I make the most out of it, and I started working in this innovative structure of 1U CubeSat. And I started, like, it was 6 months of intense research and designing and analyzing forces. It was just like a hectic period of my life. And thank God, like, I did it, because like eventually the social media and how they took this thesis in general, they were just like looking forward to have such a thing, and they were so proud of having, like, a woman in engineering doing such a thesis.
Absolutely. And it's been exciting reading about you all over sort of the international press. For some of it, we have a fairly lay person audience that watches this show. And I guess most of what we see the last several years going up into space has been either, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or whomever with fancy rocket ships. Talk a little bit about what exactly a CubeSat is, what one a CubeSat is, and then a little bit, I know that you've written and talked about how these lower cost satellites can help us address many challenges that maybe you don't have billions of dollars to get rocket ships up there, but talk a little bit about some of what you envision in terms of the immediate challenges that CubeSats can help us solve.
Yeah, absolutely. So miniaturized satellites or cube satellites are basically small structure satellites that help us study the Earth and study the problems of the Earth from low Earth orbit or LEO. The study of cube satellites started 20 years ago. And basically it was a challenge for university students to work on this cube satellites and launch it into space. So they can study more the events of Earth. They can take data of Earth and send it back to Earth ground station, where they can study the urban growth, the climate change, the water sources and the entire region. So it was just like a very simple space mission satellite with low cost, and it targeted university students so they employ their knowledge into creating this cube satellite. And right now, like major companies like SpaceX is actually working in cube satellites and mass producing cube satellites. They can study, so they can send frequent data of Earth, and also they can provide Earth with Wi-Fi. So there are different purposes of cube satellites. My purpose, or Palestine One purpose in this field, is to study the MENA region. The MENA region right now is suffering from different problems. One major problem that MENA region is facing right now is climate change, and also urban growth. Like the urban growth in this area is not based on scientific sources, or scientific ground. So my cube satellite is trying to provide data to the MENA region, so we can provide scientific-based solutions for these crises. We're always talking about climate change and how we should be changing policies of climate change in the Middle East. That's great, that's wonderful. However, it's not the only solution that should be provided in this region, and that's why cube satellites come in hand. They provide frequent data of the MENA region or the region in general, and having this data can actually help us build a scientific-based solution.
Excellent, excellent. And in reading about you, in addition to Bayan Abusalameh, mechanical aerospace engineer. I've read a lot about, there was an interesting article about when you first started out, you went in the classroom and you were like, hey, I'm the only female in here. And then also there was a piece I read, I think it was a Dr. Hussam Zamlad, who was head of the Palestinian mission in the UK, and he wrote about how what you're doing can, quote, harness the potential of Palestinian stargazers and space enthusiasts. So in addition to your mechanical aerospace engineering, you have been given a few additional roles, which you might not have expected right away, but you are an inspiration for females in STEM and as well as children in STEM. Talk about these additional roles, how you see, obviously, what you're doing is inspiring other women in the region, children in the region, to be the next Bayan Abusalameh.
Oh, wow. Well, yeah, when I started mechanical engineering, I just realized I was one of the very few females in this industry, and I was so annoyed and alienated in many times, in many occasions, in many modules I've taken, where I was for an entire semester, I was the only female in advanced automotive structures, and that just was very difficult on me, because it's just very hard to be the only female where you can have different opinions about certain things, or when you don't know certain thing about automotive, that can be the typical response is that you don't know this because you're a woman. you're a woman, not because you're basically not interested in this field. And they just assume that you're not interested in this field because of your gender. And that was really annoying for me growing up. And just to study mechanical engineering in Palestine, it was just hard to just like to create a place for me to belong. So that's when I just decided that this has to change. Like, we need more females in mechanical engineering. We need more women in STEM. So this is when I first started talking about women in STEM. And I felt like education in Palestine is something that must be like, it's just like, there's a lot of things that's happening in that region, obviously. And education in particular and women in engineering should be targeted more. So I started talking about this issue. And I started talking about education in Palestine. And this is when I was invited to give speeches in the US in different American universities about education in Palestine and women in engineering. And that was like the beginning of my speeches career, and like when I started to influence others. Later on in life, when I was accepted at Chevening, I also felt kind of alienated in mechanical engineering department, because I was also one of the very few females here in the UK who studies mechanical engineering. However, I felt like the intake of this the intake of women in STEM is different here, because like obviously we're trying to get more females to be involved in this industry, but the challenges for why we don't have enough women in engineering is different here. Like I think maybe it's something has to it's related to society. I think how we are teaching our kids about these modules ever since they are young, maybe they feel it's boring, maybe they feel it's not interested. So but I still like I talked about like women engineering even here, and that was one of the things that caught the attention of the head of Palestinian state, head of Palestinian mission here in London. He met with me, and basically we talked about women engineering and the future of this industry and Palestine. And I actually gave my opinion, and he was really impressed by it. And that's when I started to receive like invitations from different conferences and different committee in Palestine and worldwide to talk about this issue, and why do we need more women in engineering, and why, and like STEM in general. Mm-hmm. So I don't feel like I'm doing something I'm influencing, or I want people to be the next Bayan Abusalameh. I want them to be the next version of themselves. If they're passionate about certain things, if they want to create a difference in their life, if they have witnessed injustice, or they have witnessed inequality in certain things, they want to change it, they should pursue this, and they should believe in themselves while pursuing this. So this is how I'm working on it right now, like to just influence others. If they see injustice, if they see inequality, if they see that they need to change certain things in their life, whether it was like very uncommon or unreal or whatever, they should do it. So that's like this role that I have had, like my life. It's just a problem that I have faced. I felt like I'm alienated in a certain thing, and I needed more women and needed more females in this industry, and that's why like I asked more people to come.
Excellent. One of the things I noticed in between your bachelor's and your master's work, you spent some time interesting at the NVIDIA Corporation, which is this huge American-based multinational involved in all sorts of things in terms of chips and mobile computing and gaming and so forth. Just interesting, this is a side thing. What other, I say, mechanical engineering and space, obviously a very hot area for you, but what other areas are you interested in? Because clearly you have a quite broad, in creating satellites, let's say, you have to understand many things. You have to just get things up there, chips. I'm sorry, I'm talking outside of my specialty here, but talk a little bit about some of your other scientific interest in the space.
Yeah, definitely. So when I worked in NVIDIA, I was introduced into the world of high-tech and chip design and test boarding. And it was just quite interesting because I worked as a mechanical designer, and I have to think outside of the box in many in many problems that we face, because I had to work with electrical engineers and I had to work with a manufacturing engineering. So it was just like a great opportunity for me to learn about how to create a product and how to mass produce this product. To be honest, like a lot of the experience that I have had in this company, learning about chip design and learning about basically creating mechanical solutions for existing problems, helped me a lot while designing my CubeSat, and helped me a lot while understanding the specifications that is required from the Cube satellite. So other sections that I'm interested in is high tech, obviously. I do believe that the future is high tech and AI and machine learning. So as engineers, we should definitely focus, and we should definitely have this interest in this innovative industry and this innovative section. So I learned a lot while working in NVIDIA from like senior designers who were in this industry for 30 years, and they have like passed their knowledge to me. It just like, it was amazing how we could come up with solutions for certain things in mechanical engineering. I'm not going to bore you with technical details, but basically, let me give you like a very simple example.
Sure, no, take your time.
The problems that we faced. So one of the issues that we had as mechanical designer is the heating problem that coming up from chips and in the basically central units of like servers or like a test board. So we had to come up with innovative heat solutions. And we had to keep in mind that like the electrical load cannot exceed certain things. So just to come up with like different heat solution, like just to come up with like a heat sink location, or like fan location, or even just like a heating pad on the test board. It just like it's innovative solutions for a simple problem, and you can just tell like this engineer is like has understood like how this particular thing works, and how this small innovative solution can actually help to increase the efficiency of the entire board or the entire product. So one thing that I'm definitely interested in is the mechanical design in general, and how it is specified in high-tech industries, because I truly believe it is the future, and how we can harness AI and machine learning in this industry.
Outstanding. And we talked a little bit about your master's dissertation, which got a lot of attention. What's next? When does the PhD begin? What are your next plans for? Obviously, you're there in London, and if any of this is confidential, you don't have to talk about it, but you can tell us a little bit more about what you're envisioning next in terms of your educational journey.
So right now I'm actually registering Palestine 1 as an IP, and like I'm in the process of IP registration for my thesis, and I'm also like contacting a few supervisors here and there, with of course like the confidentiality of their names.
Sure.
But hopefully I'm planning to publish as well by the end of this year, the paper where people can know more about my work in Palestine 1. So my upcoming my upcoming steps for sure is PhD. And like I'm contacting few supervisors here in London and in the US, so to pursue my PhD as soon as possible, and to start working on actually like executing the design of Palestine 1 and test it, and hopefully we can see it launched in 3 years, with the help of funders and with the help of supporters worldwide and in Palestine as well.
Excellent. Yeah, it was interesting. In sort of as I was going through the social network, I found that one of the people that was talking about you was Mr. Bashar Masri from one of the major Palestinian entrepreneurs, major private equity guy, and it got me thinking. Obviously, you're going to be able to do whatever you want to do moving forward. Obviously, Elon Musk could hire you one day to lead SpaceX and things, but at the same time, I could be talking to the Palestinian female Elon Musk that develops whatever the next company is going to be called. Have you had, just once again, nothing confidential here, but as you've been doing, have you had investors coming to you saying, "Hey, let's start Palestine 1X," or whatever you want to call it? And please, you don't have to go into any more detail.
I had, when I first talked about the Palestine one and like it went viral on social media, a lot of Palestinians came up to me and said, "Hey, we're really interested in funding your project. And if you ever started a GoFundMe or crowdfunding campaign, would be the first in line." But what I'm trying to do with Palestine One is to make it academic, and I want it to be executed through an academic platform. So that's why I want to pursue working on Palestine One and my PhD. And later on in the future, like it's one of the things that I want and I aspire to work on, is to put the ground rule for the first Palestinian cube satellite industry or like space agency. And whatever, but this can't happen without having an experience working in this field and without having like the support and the appreciation of different space enthusiasts in Palestine and worldwide. So that's what I'm trying to work on right now, and that's what I'm trying to execute while working on Palestine One. As I said, like Palestine One is the milestone. It's the first milestone for Palestinian space industry, and it's never the end for this industry. And that's why I named it One, because I believe it wouldn't be the only cube satellite in this industry, the only Palestinian cube satellite. I think it would be the beginning of a series for studying the MENA region, and like series for many cube satellites coming afterward, and maybe different space enthusiasts to take my work and building up to it, and like coming up with different solutions, better solutions maybe for cube satellites.
Excellent. Coming back to you, obviously, the last several years has been very exciting. You've met numerous people in academia, in industry, of course, along the way. Giving you the floor back for a little bit, Bayan, talk a little bit about mentors, influencers, other people that have been around you on this journey that were really instrumental that you may want to shout out to, mention at this point.
Oh, definitely. Well, growing up, like my first mentor and my number one supporter in this journey was definitely my dad. He was the one who solved mathematical problems with me when I was like 5-year-old. And whenever I came up to him to tell him about a mathematical problem that I could not solve, he would like take my hand and start solving it with me. So that's my first mentor, my dad. My second mentor was my mom, because my mom is a very strict woman, and she taught me to work hard on my dreams and never settle, and like to always not take any opportunity for granted. And that's like what I have been living up to. So those two were my mentors, my first mentors. But like professional wise, like when I came here to the UK, and just like pursuing my master's in pandemic, I met my friends in student accommodation, and they come from different backgrounds, whether from Germany or US or Pakistan or India, and whether they study economics or whether they study business entrepreneurship or even law. And like just talking to them and just knowing what they're planning to do in the future, and like having different prospects in international problems over lunch or while studying in the library, it just like made my prospect of studying every problem that I have encountered to be broader. And it definitely opened my mind toward things I didn't see before. So definitely the friends that I have made here in the UK, they became my number one support, and they become also like kind of my mentors in a way. when it came to looking at international problems and coming in creating solutions. So those are my supporters. Also, my friends in Palestine, they supported me in this journey a lot, especially when I was working till 3 a.m. on Palestine 1, and I was just like losing my mind and dreaming over what's happening. So I remember one day I lost the work of like, I was doing force analysis on the design, and it was like 12 hours work analysis. And at one point, my laptop crashed, and it's just like I lost the work of like a week. So I remember like I called my friend in Palestine. I told him, "Hey man, I don't think I can do this. Like it's just like draining, and I can't really do this." And he said, yeah, like what you have done so far is way more than what is left. So if you're going to lose your work if you're going to quit now, it's just not you. And that's what made me open my laptop again, start working all over again. So I definitely feel like I'm blessed with the people that I have in my life, whether like were my friends or my teachers at uni, and especially my supervisor here. I met my supervisor when he gave me the module of research first semester, and then like he was assigned to me as a supervisor. And I remember the conversations that we had about engineering, and he's like a hardcore critic, and he is like an academic mentor with every meaning of like what academic mentor should mean. So definitely he's one of my mentors in life, and my supporter as well, because he supported me on this journey, and he believed in me when I started working on this project. So I feel like I am definitely blessed with the people that I have met in my life, like in Palestine or here, and my academic career as well, like in Palestine or here, especially here. So these are like all affected my life and definitely changed my mentality about thinking about things. And it got me to where I am today.
Excellent. Final question here. This is the fictional question of the show. But so over here, I have a ticket. It is a ticket to the next SpaceX launch or the equivalent on Bezos or Virgin Galactic or whatever it may be. I'm going to give it to you. You can do two things. You can either take the next flight up and go check out space for a few minutes, or you can sell that ticket for whatever they're $10 million and invest it in Palestine 1. What are you going to do with that ticket?
It's a very good question, and I would definitely sell it to invest in to work in Palestine 1, because sure, the few minutes in space is marvelous, but at the same time, I'm looking for a lifetime in space. So that's what I'm trying to invest into. I'm trying to invest into creating a career in space and like to start research in space. So definitely, I would sell it and start working on it.
Excellent. And one day with the money that is going to come in, you'll probably build your own rocket ship. So that'll be
definitely
that'll be exciting too. Well,
exactly.
But it was really exciting talking to you and hearing about this story. I know you're going to do wonderful things moving it all forward, and it's going to be fascinating watching this as it all unfolds. For everybody that's going to be listening to this particular episode across our podcast networks or watching on the YouTube channel, you've been listening to Bayan Abusalameh, 2020-2021 Chevening Scholar, Advanced Mechanical Engineering, Queen Mary University of London. Keep an eye on her, keep an eye on Palestine 1, her CubeSat work. Bayan, once again, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to talk to us.
Sure.
Thanks for everything you're doing there. And as we like to say on our show, thank you for helping to create a better tomorrow for everybody via your work. Really inspiring story.
Thank you for having me.